Alright, for the first one, we need to solve this. So distribute twice to get 8x plus 32 minus 2x plus 2. Combine your like terms. 8x minus 2x gives us 6x. 32 plus 2 gives us 34. Then pick and choose what you want to move. I'm going to move 34 first. And then bring my x over to the left. Again, if that's not how you did this, that's okay, because there's 4 different ways to solve this. And then divide both sides by 9. So x should have been positive 4. Have any questions, concerns on that one? Number 2, you needed to simplify, but it had a lot of fractions. So distribute your fractions. And remember, you're like multiplying across. So 1 times 3, 2 times 5. Here, I could think about this as negative 8 divided by 2. And then the same thing here. 7 times 2. 4 times 5. And then here I could do 7 times 4 and then divide by 4. Or I could do 4 divided by 4, which is 1. And then times. Times 7. Either way. I could simplify this one, and I could have also simplified this as I multiplied, but I didn't. And then combine your like terms. 3 plus 7 would give me 10 over 10. Negative 4 plus 7 would give me 3. 10 over 10 simplifies to just 1, or just x plus 3. So all of those fractions disappear, and you got whole numbers. Do you have any questions, concerns on that one? Number 3, I asked for the domain and the range. What was the domain of this? Or what was the furthest point to the left? 6. And then the furthest point to the right? Positive 6. So that would be curly bracket, your x, your line, negative 6 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 6. And then for your range, it's going to start off the same way, but with y. What was your lowest point? I think that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Negative 5. And then your highest point? Negative 2. So negative 5 to negative 2 would have been your range. Questions on that one? Turning over to the back. Number 4 was one of those absolute value equations. So 1, we need to get everything away from the absolute value. You're going to tell me the answer? Okay, hold on. First, I need to subtract 3 on both sides. And then divide by -4. I think what is incorrect. This is going to be a fraction because 4 doesn't go into 30. We divide both by 2, that'd be 15 over 2. The absolute value sign is not by itself, so we can set the inside equal to a positive and negative version of that. And then solve both. So subtract 3 on both sides. And convert it into a fraction so that way it would be easier to combine them. And then we would divide both sides by 3, but because we already have fractions, instead of doing that, I'm going to multiply both sides by 1 over 3. These would still cancel, but dividing this by 3 would be the same thing as multiplying this by 1/3. So we have -7 over 2 and 3 over 2. So our solution set would be -7/2 and 3/2. I think when I made that problem, it was supposed to work out, so it was supposed to be a no solution. But I think I put something in wrong. I think had we divided it by just a 4, it would have gave us no solution. But I may have mistyped that. It was not supposed to be that complex. Right. For the last one, it says find f of -2. So this is your x value. We're going to put that in for all of our x values and figure out what our y is. So this would be 2 times 4 plus 20. Or 8 plus 20. So our y value is 28, or we can write it f of -2 equals 28. Either or. Do we have questions on either of these two, 4 or 5? Okay. So we are going to be starting a new unit today. This unit is on writing equations from different variations, different things. So you should have those notes within all the papers I gave you. You also have a new course calendar. Make sure you look at that, have all those dates. Everyone have these notes out? The notes that they're so when last minute, not the line of best fit, but the one before that, we were graphing and we were given our equation. Now it's basically the opposite. Now we're going to be given graphs and other things and have to find the equation. To find the equation that's in slope-intercept form, what two things do we need? So this is the slope and the y-intercept. Because we need to write it in the form y equals mx plus b. If you have your computer out right now, you don't need it, so you can close it so it's not a distraction. Okay. So for these first couple of examples, it actually has a line for m and b, so you could write those down and then put them together for the equation. But moving forward, you can still do that, but it's not necessary. So one part of writing equations is from a graph. Can you find what the slope and y-intercept are from the graph and then put those two into an equation? Some of these will be given, like they'll have the points on there, some of them won't. And you'll have to find which ones go through the grid lines exactly. For number one, let's start with the y-intercept because that's easy. What is the y-intercept of number one? -3. And then remember to find your slope from a graph. You have to find 2 points. So let's say we start at that -3. Find another point that goes through the grid lines exactly. It looks like this point does. And I think there's also maybe this one. What would that slope be? Remember, it's rise over 1. 3 over 1.
But it's 2 over 1 and the other.
For this
Which
one.
point is it on the bottom?
Let's go with the y-intercept. So 3 over 1 or just 3 because we want these simplified. So how would I write this as an equation? Y equals 3x minus 3. So of all the things we're going to talk about, this is probably the easier of the 3. Easier of all of the topics. Number 2, what is our y-intercept there? 2. And then we just need to find another point that goes through grid lines exactly. It looks like there's a point drawn for us right here. It's over 2. I don't think it's 4. So for this, depending on which point you start at, let's say we start at our y-intercept, we have to go up or down first. So if we go up and to the left, so that would make it -3 over 2. Or if you're going this way, you're going down and to the right. So this would be a -3 over 2. So that equation would be y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 2. So far, do we have any questions on how to write an equation from a graph? Yes, okay.
For first one,
For which one?
the negative 3.
The y-intercept?
Yeah.
So mine might be a little off from you guys', but there should be a point right here at negative 3 on the y-axis.
Okay. And the positive 3?
So we have to find another point that goes through it exactly. There was a point drawn right here, and then I found that this point also goes through the grid lines. You could use either of those 2 points, and then start at whichever one. We started at the y-intercept. You have to count up and then over 1 to get this. So it would really be 3 over 1, but we want it simplified. Let's do one more and then I'll let you do a few. Number 3. This one doesn't have a line for M and B, but if you want to write it off to the side, you can definitely do that. And if you want to jump straight into the equation, you could also do that. Say, the B would be 2, yes. What would our slope of this one be? Over 5. There are 2 points right here. And if you're not sure, try to draw another point using that same slope. So if I think this is 2 over 5, start at your y-intercept and do it again. If I go up 2 to the right 5, I should have another point that crosses the grid lines exactly. So y equals 2 over 5x plus 2 is our equation there. I forgot there was a front and a back. We're going to do 2 more. Then I'll let you try some. Or, yeah. Flip over to the back. And find questions 13 and 14. So for 13, it's asking which of these graphs represents the line y equals 1/3 x minus 2. We can eliminate some of these by looking at the y-intercept. Which of these do not have a y-intercept of negative 2? A does not. Okay, and then we need a positive slope. All of these are positive. We need a slope of 1/3. Which of these do not have a slope of 1/3? Is that the only one? It's also not B. B does not have a slope of 1/3. It has a slope of 3. So D would be our answer. We can double check. It has a y-intercept of negative 2. And if I go up 1 to the right 3, or down 1 to the left 3, I get slope points. Okay.
3. It was 2/3? Or 2/5?
2/5.
Okay.
For number 14, we are now given a graph and we have to match it to the equation. I say we could eliminate it using the y-intercept, but they all have the same one. Is this slope positive or negative from our graph?
Negative.
Negative. So we can get rid of the positive slope. So get rid of A, get rid of B. Does this have a slope of negative 2 or negative 1/5? Negative 2. So C would be our answer there, and we can double check. This has a y-intercept of -1. I can go up 2 to the left 1 as many times as possible, or down 2 to the right 1 as many times as possible. Okay. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes, it may not take you that long, to go through the remaining graphing problems. 6 on this page and the 3 on the first page, so 9. And write the equation of those 9. And then we'll come back and talk about them. Read it through. So number 4, the y-intercept was 1, the slope was -3, so your equation was y equals -3x plus 1. Number 5, the slope was 3/2, your y-intercept was 3, so your equation was y equals 3/2x plus 3. Number 6, slope was -2/3. Y-intercept was -2, so your equation was y equals -2x minus 2. Questions on those 3? Y'all get those right? Anyone still need those before we go on to the next ones? Uh, 7. Your slope was 1, y-intercept -3, so the equation was y equals x minus 3, or 1x minus 3. 8, your slope was 2, y-intercept was 4, so the equation was y equals 2x plus 4. 9, the slope was -1, y-intercept was 1, so y equals -x plus 1, or -1x plus 1. 10, the slope was 1/2, y-intercept was 4, -4, sorry. The equation was y equals 1/2 x minus 4 before I scroll down. Do we have questions on those 4? We get those good? We get those right? Okay. And then 11, the y-intercept was 0, slope was -1. So your equation could be y equals -x, y equals -1x, y equals -x plus 0, y equals -1x plus 0, any of those. And then 12, your y-intercept was 1, slope was -2/3, your equation was y equals -2/3x plus 1. Questions on those 2? Okay. So how do we feel about finding the equation of the line from graphs? Give me a thumbs up if good, good, good. This next part is still doing that, but from our horizontal and vertical lines, so we need to remember our 4 bucks. I'm already. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to try and squeeze it in up here. So horizontal lines have 0 slope, and those are y equals. Vertical lines have undefined slope, and those are x equals. So for our 2 examples, here we have a vertical line. So this is going to be an x equals. What does x equal here on this line? Outline it. That's the slope, yes. What number is your x at? 3. So that would be our equation. X equals 3. And then for our horizontal line, this is going to be a y line. What number is y at? -1. I'm going to highlight it also. Now what would the slope of that one be? 0. There we go. I want you to take the next minute and do, I think there's 4, there's 6. I misspoke. And try those 6. X equals -2. Be careful when you're looking at this. I know it's kind of bunched up on your paper.
It's undefined.
The slope would be undefined. You could write that, but it's not necessary for this, but it is good to know that, yes. Number 2.
3.
What about 3? Y equals 3. Number 3.
0.
Okay, 2 different things.
Wait, 3.
Number 3. Y equals -5. Number 4. X equals 4. Number 5.
I couldn't see the line.
It is x equals 0. The line is actually on top of this line right here. Thank you, Mr. You're welcome. That was nerve-wracking. Number 6. Nothing. They're just visiting classrooms together, but it's nerve-wracking. Number 6. Y equals 2. So all of that is writing equations from graphs. Do you have any questions on that part? So we're going to go through the next page, and then that'll be it for today. However, the next page is a lot of things that we've already talked about, so this should be reviewed for us. So the 2 things at the top, your slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. I know some of you started this already, and you can check your answers. We did some of these already. I want to say when we were graphing. But here we're given a slope, we're given a y-intercept, we have to be able to put them together. So for number 1, what would the equation be? Correct. You're just putting the slope and the y-intercept into y equals mx plus b. Number 2.
Y equals 3.
X plus 4, yes. Number 3. Plus 2. Number 4. Yes, -1x or -x plus 7. Number 5. 1/4 x, 1/4 x plus 0. Either of those is fine. And the last one. -5/2x minus 3 over. It is a negative. Some of these are kind of hard to see.
Not negative.
Right? The other part of this is going back to converting, just so that way we remember how to do that. So usually these are in the form ax plus by equals c. And we have to get them back in slope-intercept form. So we'll do 3 together, then I'll let you do the other 3. Number 1, how would you start this?
Yeah, 2x on both sides.
Correct. And in this case, those cancel, and you can go ahead and switch these now, or you can write it and then switch it. But y equals negative 2x plus 3 would be our, answer there. Number 2, how would we start solving that? Subtract 4x on both sides, yeah. We have 5y equals, I'm going to go ahead and switch these now. So we have negative 4x minus 30. And then have you?
What about the division?
It's a plus in the middle. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a plus.
Oh.
So you
And now we divide 5.
for everything. So what would our equation be? Y equals negative 4 over 5x minus 6. Last one, number 3. How would we start that one? Subtract x on both sides.
On both sides to get the y variable.
So divide negative 3 to everything. So our equation would be y equals 1/3 x minus 4. Take the next 5-ish minutes and do the other 3. And then we'll come back and we'll check them. Let's go over these. I don't have answers on that one. That's okay. Don't have the answers to this already, but that's okay. I'll do them really quickly. Number 4 was y equals x plus 8. Number 5 was y equals 4x, or y equals 4x plus 0. And number 6 was y equals 3 over 2x minus 7. Do we have questions on any of those 3? So I'm going to explain what you guys are going to be doing for the rest of class. There is one Delta Math on everything we just did that is due the next time I see you on Thursday. So I want you to be working on that first. Well, I'll give you the option. There are, I don't know if this is in here. On the very back, or in the back, there are different practice sheets. So the one that says Unit 5 Objective 1/2 Writing Linear Equations is 2 pages. I want you to try numbers 1 through 6 and 19 through 24. So that'll be the writing the slope form of the equation of the line given slope and y-intercept, and write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line given the graph. Then on the very last page, I I want you to try the first 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are 16 problems to work through in the packet, and then the 1 delta math. Some of you started working through the other examples, but what you'll find out is that there is a specific way to do this page of notes, and we'll be doing that next class. After we do this page of notes, it'll help you do the 2 Khan Academies that are due on Friday. So if you started that and were not sure on some of those, that's probably why. So focus on the ones in the notes and the 1 delta math that's due on Thursday. Anyone have any questions on that, on what we're doing for the rest of class? You guys have this time to work. Let me know.